Major retailers facing backlash for their attempts to monetize Juneteenth. Now, Walmart is one of those brands recently apologizing after putting a new red velvet ice cream flavor called Juneteenth onto their store shelves. Now, critics took to Twitter, very upset that Walmart was doing this and urging customers to support Creamalicious instead. This is a Black-owned business that had its own version of red velvet ice cream. Well, we want to welcome in the founder of Creamalicious to the program, Liz Rogers. Liz, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Creamalicious has certainly been getting a lot of attention over the last couple of weeks. What's it been like for your brand and the exposure that you've seen because of this controversy with Walmart?
It's been super exciting. We've had a ton of support. I'm just been really excited about just the brand in general, just expanding and just meeting all of the Creamalicious fans across the country. It's been extremely inspiring, and it's been an amazing brand awareness, to say the least.
And obviously, this can be a tough space to navigate when you're already in a store and then they're having this controversy. Talk about your decision in terms of the way that you handled it and really the message that you want to give to perhaps some of these other Black entrepreneurs who would like to see their things on national retailers' shelf.
Well, there was a huge, just overnight, just keeping up with the demand because the product was in demand really, really fast. So there was really no way to prepare for that. But at the same time, it really gave me a lot of insights on the business, how to expand the business, and different things of how to navigate through the business. And what I would say is this, as entrepreneurs really need to make sure that they have an amazing team behind them that can help them, because you can't do everything by yourself. You really need to understand your vision. You need to understand what your product is, the demand, and make sure you have a really good supply chain as well.
Applaud you, Liz, for not being upset. I'm a little upset with you that you didn't give us some banana pudding or peach cobbler ice cream. So next time, please, those are two flavors high on my list. But I'm curious about, you have said that you did not want, and still do not, want retailers to consider the color of your skin, to bring you into their stores because of diversity. Why? And what do you think about the 15% pledge, which is asking businesses to require 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned business owners?
Cheers to the underdog. Creamalicious, I'm the underdog. I'm right there next to Ben & Jerry's and Nestle and Haagen-Dazs. These brands are giants. Just growing up, I looked up to these brands. They have really great staying powers, and they have a huge machine behind them. So what I try to do is I don't compete with the bigger brands. I created my own dessert category. Creamalicious is the only 2-in-1 dessert on the market. It's chef-inspired, Southern-inspired, and it's an artisan brand. It has amazing brand stories. It's more of an experience than a dessert. So, it's very authentic. It's a great product. Are we perfect? No. We're brand new. We're doing extremely well, and we're trying to hone in and craft, just perfect our brand, But at the same time, we should look at that piece of it. And by the way, I'm an proudly African-American owned woman brand. So we shouldn't lead with that, because I don't think any brand's leading with the color of their skin.
And what do you think about the 15% pledge? Do you like that?
I do like the 15% pledge because, there has not been an African-American in mass production as it relates to ice cream that's national. In the masses. We do have African-American owned ice cream manufacturers that are regional, but I'd like to see more of that. I do feel like, we do have the opportunity to go into the retailers, but we do need resources to stay and sustain the brand. There needs to be resources allocated to smaller businesses to make sure that it needs to be an even playing scale.
And I want to ask you, because obviously these recipes passed down through generations to now, what have been the biggest lessons that you've learned in going from sort of having these recipes to getting them actually onto the shelves of national retailers?
Well, I work with some of the top food scientists in the country. I really wanted to make sure that I own my own IP, my intellectual properties and formulas. So I work with food scientists to help me hone in on what it meant to scale the brand. I am not a private label person. I've done a lot of private labeling for proprietary brands for their proprietary pints. I just did something really big with McAllister's. That's an amazing national brand with their iced tea. They're super famous for their iced tea. And that was a really cool situation for me because I got an opportunity to really taste their iced tea, make the ice cream with the iced tea flavors and components, and really bring a 2-in-1 dessert to market. So that was a really big learning experience for me. And I'm doing a lot more of that.
Liz, you mentioned the importance of resources to sustain a brand. I'm curious, what are those resources? What's necessary to sustain a brand from your view?
You have to have very good attorneys, regardless if you can afford them or not, very good CFOs, accounting. You have to have a very good marketing and branding team. And you really have to have people around you that are brilliant, that know a whole lot more than you. I was, really smart enough to know just having other businesses and learning a lot of lessons, success and failures, but not necessarily living in my lessons that I'm more of a creative person. I'm an artist. So my team allows me to stay in a creative space, be the executive chef of my brand, and just create. I'm kind of like a Willy Wonka kind of person. So Creamalicious is extremely innovative. We're very agile. We can make fast moves. So, when things come about and opportunities, that is, for Creamalicious, we're able to move on things a lot quicker without having to go through so much red tape.
Speaking of moving quicker, Liz, Monday we'll honor Juneteenth, the end of slavery. It's only been a year. It's astounding that President Biden first signed that just a year ago. What's your message to the 30 states that don't recognize it and the corporations that don't yet recognize it as a paid federal holiday?
We do need to recognize it because it is something that has come a long way in history. That these are unprecedented times. It's just with ice cream. For me, ice cream is supposed to make people feel good. Change and just progression should make everyone feel good. I mean, we're not all that different. We're all human. We should recognize the pain. We should recognize history. We should recognize the lessons and just how just the country and African Americans in general, we've just come a long way. And I'm sure there's other races and other business owners, and there's so many different things that has happened in the world. And I think everyone should recognize the good.
Yeah, certainly. And very important for everyone to recognize Juneteenth. Liz Rogers, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. Creamalicious Ice Cream founder, president, and executive chef.